It's Mervell here. I'm back again with this new video. We're live. All right, let's join the chat and talk about what I got in store for you today. So, if you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to, chill for a second, give you a little bit of the time to join the chat, and then we could get this started. All right. What time it is? Oh, it's about to be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because we're here on the East Coast, precisely in Pennsylvania. So if you join the chat, please let me know in the comment where you are watching from, then we get to talk about this. So, yeah, it's always a pleasure being here and with all my lovely people. So I know you guys are awesome. And every single time I join this, I come online and, talk with you about farming in Congo. It just makes me happy. And I love talking about this stuff. So please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me well. And also, I'll stick around and then we'll all get to talk about this. All right. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes, wait for a few people to join, and we're going to get this started. Oh, wow. This juice is really very tasty, right? It tastes really good. So I highly recommend this. So if you've never had this before, make sure next time you go grocery shopping, you want this. It's actually tasty. It tastes really good. I'm not here to publicize any products or anything. I just wanted to share it out with you. But feel free to get whatever you get, all right? So yes, now today is Tuesday, October 18th. It's my day off. I'm super excited and I couldn't wait to talk to you about this. First of all, let's get one of the things out of the way. You guys know. Oh, awesome name. If you've had that before, you're pretty sure you know what it is because this thing is really tasty. Like I love this thing. I've had it before. Oh, it was a moment when at the grocery stores, like I couldn't find this anymore. I ended up like picking different juice and everything, but I just like the fruit though. I like the fruit. The fruit is really, really tasty. I love it. So this particular joint is really, really, tasty. I like the way it tastes. All right, let's put that to the side. We're not here to talk about this guava juice, but we are here to talk about farming in Congo. Okay, you read the title, you guessed it, and it is what it is. And that's right, okay? Check this out. If you pick farm in Congo or anywhere in the world, equal financial freedom. And that's right, that's true. And there was a reason why I wanted to share that thought with you today because of what happened today, particularly. If you guys go back to check my channel, or maybe it's up to you, this is a live stream, you can watch this towards the end, and then at the end, you go check one of my shorts that I just actually released about a couple of minutes ago. I basically shared, a 72 pound or 72 kilogram or 150 pounds pig, how much they cost back in the country. So I'm waiting for people to comment in the comment section down below. Then I'll tell you exactly how much money it costs to sell a pig like that. But the reason why I wanted to come on, on this live stream and to share that with you guys is because this proves another point of the things that I have been talking about my channel for quite some times now, okay? So if you guys been around for a little bit, you guys know what my intentions are and, what the ideas that I personally have, in what direction I am willing to move the pig farming in Congo. So you guys will have a clear idea of why I have been doing this. For a simple fact that we are all in a diaspora living our lives, but in our minds, we all love our country so much. And some of us who by the way, have the entrepreneurship mindsets. We would like to go back to the country and start businesses and actually help out the local communities and the things that we could do to actually to help eliminate some of the unemployment rates that's ramping in our country. One of the sectors that I have personally chosen, it is agriculture. So it took me a little bit to realize how important this could be and how exciting this can be doing it. And the more I did it, or the more I do it, the more excited I get. All right. I never regretted my decision to start a farm. Okay. I have invested quite a bit of the cash into it, and I'm not going to step in the middle of it. Of course, I've had challenges before. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had moments where like I was almost this close to quit, but thanks to the people that I'm surrounded with and the people that I conduct business with, who actually kept, actually encouraging me to continue doing more and to acknowledge and embrace the fact that whatever business you start also always involve a risk. So if you're starting a business and you're not willing to take risks, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you. Nobody gets into whatever type of business in the beginning and expects to be successful. You will have to go through mistakes, and then eventually, once you learn what you are trying to do, you will get better, and those mistakes will be less likely to be made, and you'll be making more profits instead of more mistakes. But the idea of making mistakes is actually a learning step towards success. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're doing something, I don't care if you studied or you went to college for something and you have the education. In a practical world, it's really not comparable to what you learn in school. In school, they teach you theory. The practice is actually when you enter the professional world, you get to practice the knowledge you have acquired. But there are also some rules that you might have to follow. Like me personally, one example that I'll give you: when I went to the police academy, we were taught to do things in a certain way. But I got out of the police academy, I had my first job as a deputy sheriff, right? And things were done in a total different way. So they're telling you the things that you think you know, but then after this, you learn that there are better ways to do things, and they will tell you whatever you learned back in the academy will not apply here. This is the things that we expect you to do. And here I'm in a police department. I'm not out on the streets here. I'm still working in the office or whatever while I'm waiting for my equipment to arrive before I hit the streets. But I have been having conversation with people who are constantly, consistently telling me that this is the moment you start to forget what you think you know about being a police officer, because they will teach you how to be a police officer while you're on the road. So I had to use that example to make a point that you will never going to get better sitting at home and spreading to the whole world that you are highly educated. If you haven't done anything with your education, it is worth nothing. All right. So all the analogies just to try to bring you onto the same, to grab your attention so we can talk about this in more depth. Okay, pig farming. Why should you consider starting a pig farm in the Congo? And why is it highly lucrative? And I'll tell you what. You guys know I'm in the middle of building a pig barn. As we speak, I remember from my last video, I actually made a promise that I was going to send my cameraman down there and share the videos with you. Unfortunately, my cameraman is busy with a lot of other things, but I told him to take his time. When he's done, and even after the project is complete, he's going to go out there filming, and I'm going to share that with you. That will be a video for another time. But as we speak today, the roof's supposed to be complete today as we speak. And there's like a few minor things that still need to be done around the barn, but I'm not really too concerned about that. But here's the thing. So you guys know my pigs, all of them, they're staying over at a friend's place. Something has been going on, which is very unfortunate. in that particular area, there was a group of guys going around stealing pigs from different pig barns. And the strategies that they're using, because you know a pig can be a very noisy animal, especially if it's bothered, disturbed, or you're trying to grab them in a certain way. When they start screaming, it's going to grab people's attention and it will come out, and probably the operation will not end well. Guess what they have been doing? They'll bring food, throw at them. As soon as they start eating, they have this big axe that they use. This is like the modus operandi that they are using. They will whack him across the head, falls right onto the floor, picks him up, picks it up, and just go with it. And a lot of pig barns got broken into the past couple of weeks over in that area. So my friends grabbed my attention and said, "Listen, we have invested so much on this pig, especially the boar, because it's now big. Let's sell it. Let's sell it, and then work with the puppies. The piglets, right? Work with the piglets. When the barn is complete, then we're gonna ship him over there. Instead of them just breaking in and stealing it, and then we end up losing money." I'm like, you know what? I really don't want to do that, but since I'm not in the country, I can't really make that decision, because you have people that have my back. I have people that have my back, and they actually support me in with everything that I do. I decided to move forward and sell the pig. Actually, I was contacted yesterday, and today the sale was already made, which means the demand of pig in our market is very high. There's nothing can go wrong with that. I was actually amazed and surprised with the price at which this pig sell. It sold at a price that I wasn't even expecting it. This pig weighs 72 kilogram, which equals 150 pounds. The total cost of this pig was $333 US. And this is considered like an average pig. It's not like crazy big. It's just an average. You get pigs that weigh up to 250 pounds. You got pigs that actually grow up to like even more than that. All right. $333 US. That is awesome. That's awesome. That's only for one pig. Now think about it. If I would have had 10 pigs at this time and sold every single one of them for the same price, I'll be looking at around $3,000 and a little bit more. If you think of your income, whatever you make from your job, on the top of it, you run a pig farm. You do what you have to do. You provide for the pigs. They grow big to an extent where, let's just say, every 2 months or every 3 months, depending on how much you can bring onto your farm, if you can sell 10 pigs every 3 months, do you have any idea how much money you will have made by the end of the year? That's considered another source of income on the top of what you already make. These are the things that we don't think about. And after selling this pig, even if this was against my will, but I felt like I didn't really have much of a choice left. I had to move forward with this idea, and I did sell the pig. But I was surprised with the amount that I have received. Like as we speak, my mom will be sending the money over to me via Western Union tomorrow, and I'll receive the money, and it will help me out with small things that I don't need to use my own the only salary that I have for. That could also come in handy. That's why I've been telling people that, listen, you don't have to, but sometimes we have to tell the stories. We have to share this kind of stories to motivate others who are thinking that maybe this is a joke, but I'm telling you it's not, okay? The barn that I have built has the capacity to hold up to 100 pigs. I started with the small projects knowing that depending on how these things move, how things go, I am going to end up building a much bigger pig barn because I want to focus on animal raising first. Planting crops and things around the farm is only one going to serve the purpose of providing food to the animal. Let's just say when I'm growing maize, I grow corn, and corn could be used in yeah, as well as other component put together. It makes great feed for the pigs, thus helping them to grow a little bit faster. And thus, like, probably it will be used for that purpose only. But in terms of business, I am going to focus more on animal raising because now, after this sale, I see how much money I could make if I continue and actually persevere in this particular activity. It's really going to pay off. I promise. In the beginning, this is not like an official sale. Well, it's an official sale, of course, but it was almost the only option I had left to actually protect what I'm already building. You know what I'm saying? But I did it, and out of curiosity, as I look after they told me how much money it sold for, I sat back for a while and I thought a little bit farther. I'm like, wait a second. If I'm able to make $330 selling one pig that only weigh 150 pounds. So by the way, I weigh more than a pig. So it which weighs 150 pounds for 330 something dollars. So if I had about 10 pigs who weighs as much as that other pig, I'm not looking for like two crazy 250 pounds pigs or whatever. Let's just stay with the average size there, right? I mean, I could have been looking at $3,000 in my very hand just because you're doing your homework. Make sure the vet give them treatment. They keep happy. They stay healthy. You also make sure that the feed is there available to feed them every single time the food is needed. And then when they're ready for the market, this is the type of money you could be making. And now try to think of it of a more commercial scale. Do you have any idea how much money you could be making just, having a pig barn? And that's not the only thing that I'm going to be limited with. Now that the pig barn project is about to be complete, starting next year, there is a lot of things on my mind that actually, as of next year, I have a lot of New Year's resolutions, including building the borehole. That is the projects that will probably be complete, I'd say, around June or maybe July. Or if, God forbid, things work out well the way I'm thinking, I could happen much earlier. But that's the date I set forth for myself, where I feel like I will have the funds that I need to move forward with the borehole building to give it more value. Okay. On the top of that, I am going to build the chicken shed, having a chicken house to start poultry farming as well. And after that, we'll move forward with goats farming and so forth. The cows still an open conversation between me and the people that I work with. That decision is yet to be made yet, but as of now, those are the three animals of my priority: pigs, chickens, and goats. I promise you, if you're watching this video and you are still trying to think about what you really want to do in terms of agriculture in Congo, there you have your answer there. I mean, if it's not good enough for you, that's fine. There are a whole lot of other things that you could do too. But my goal here is to motivate you to go back and do the exact same thing that I am doing. This for me, it was more of a motivation to share this video with you, because not only that, I'm very, very excited, and I'm started to think like more than what I already have available to me. I have about, minus the one that I sold now, I have altogether 8 pigs, and they are going to continue to multiply. A pig can give birth to eight, even more than eight piglets at once. So times how many female, how many, female pigs that I have running around my farm, especially with the last round of piglets that this just gave birth to, I'll be looking at the higher number at a short period of time. And if they're properly taken care of and if they consume as much as they should, which will accelerate their growth, by the time that they reach a certain age, trust me, they will there's a lot of money that could be made there. All right, let me take the time to grab this questions here. Let me take the time to grab the chat real quick because it looks like somebody in the comment section is actually bumming with a whole bunch of questions and all of that. Let me see that if you don't mind sharing how much you sold for. I've already shared that. How much did it cost you? VAT, food, and labor. Okay. I wouldn't be able to give you the accurate number, but especially when it comes down to the vet, the vet does not treat the pigs every single day. It does not treat them every single time. There are a specific time of the year that you need to treat the pigs. What I know so far, especially for the female pig, as soon as they give birth, the sow you will not have you will have to give they would have to get vaccinated as well as the piglets. After vaccinating the piglets, make sure before they get off of a breastfeeding, they need to get vaccinated again. Once that's done, you are good. But there's also a period of the year where there are a lot of pestilence going around. They need to get vaccinated. Okay, the money that I have spent so far this year in terms of vaccinations with all the pigs and stuff is only cost me something like, unless I'm mistaken, the number off the top of my head is like $120 altogether. Labor, the people that's working for me, especially who are taking care of the farm, I pay them something like $100 to stay there, to look after everything, to take care of it. And since the pigs are not staying on my barn yet, because since it's still under construction, I have a friend who has been helping me out where my pigs stay at. So he gets one of his son who takes care of them. He actually washes them every other day. I'm not forced to pay the kid. It's been doing it to help me out, but because knowing that someone who goes to school and he has to take care of the pigs, I voluntarily send a little bit of something to help the kid out. But the father gave them orders to do it out of their own volition, which I really don't have to spend any money on. But I know when somebody is actually sacrificing their time to put in work for you, you have to compensate them, and that's what I've been doing. I know when they move from his home over to the barn, the people that are staying there, it will be something that they will have to deal with. They will take care of it from over there. And at the time, we will negotiate, well, probably we will renegotiate the pricing, the money that I pay them every month. And we will look at how much more they are willing to get paid. And from there, after we negotiate, then I'll probably have a clear idea of how much money it will cost me then. But as far as what it costs me now, that's about how much money I have spent. And now the first sale, it already got me $300. So, and I couldn't be more happier. Like I'm very happy with the results. And I know I could do a lot better than that. I never injected any type of steroids, any type of vitamins that would accelerate the growth of the pig. I've never done any of that. The practice is still natural. They're growing up feeding organic, feeds. I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to become thirsty of money here and just sell people the things that will not going to taste well. No, actually, the pigs that I have on my farm, They're growing up naturally. They not injected with anything. So you've been around, you've seen them. I share them all the time on my channel. They're in much better health, and I want to keep it going like that because we're not going to do that to our people. We're putting certain chemicals into the feeds where that the animal are feeding from. As a result of that, they grow fast just to be ready for the markets. Once they sell, you make the money to fill up your pockets, but the people who are consuming these food products are the one who will be going through a lot of health breakdowns, and I don't want that to happen. I will never practice such a thing. And if you are planning on getting into the same line of work, you don't have to do it. That's just an advice that I will give you because we all know, coming from the West, the things that we consume, it's not as healthy. That's why we have people with a lot of heart disease, with a lot of heart problems. If you're from, I mean, you live in the West. If you don't exercise, you don't go, you don't have a gym membership, and you keep eating all this food that you buy from Walmart, Giant, and all this other supermarket. Look, after a good 2 3 years, you should be looking at some pills that will actually help you lose weight. You know what I mean. So that sense of sarcasm wasn't not to play, but it's the reality. You know what I mean? When I moved to the States, I never looked like this. I didn't look like this. I'm a very skinny guy, but I go to the gym, I lift weights, I run, I try to, to maintain a good physical condition, but I've gained weight quite a bit. I mean, this came from all the food. That's why I try to stick with African food as much as possible. That's why I had to drive sometimes all the way to Philadelphia, which is about an hour and some change drive from my town. It's worth it because I get to consume African food that's fresh from Africa, even though they're not as fresh as you will get them back home. But at least you're spending money on imported food, which is causing you to spend more. But in return, you're eating healthy meal, healthy food. That's the same thing we should be doing for our local people too, especially when we're getting into agriculture or business journey. So I encourage every single one of you to start a farm right now. It's in high demand. Today, I was able to provide to the markets that will potentially end up in someone's plate today or maybe tomorrow, but I do not have enough to feed the whole population of West Kinshasa. That's why we need more of you guys to join the family, to start something similar. Maybe different animals. There are so many birds, there are so many other animals that you could raise out there. It doesn't always have to be pigs. It could be many other animals. Just do something to help out, bring food on somebody else's table. You're doing business. It's a noble business. At the same time, somebody else has something. It's because without agriculture, I don't know what our lives will look like. The reason why I'm drinking this juice is because somebody had planted these fruits, this guava, and this industrial factories that make these juices. They bought it from them and processed it, giving you the juice that they're giving me the juice that I'm drinking right now as I'm going live stream. All of this is very possible because of agriculture. Look around you. Everything around us, it's about agriculture. That's why even I'm planting, I've already got a lot of trees growing on my farm, and I'm planting even more. You know what it helps to? It helps with a lot of things. It helps with global warming. It helps with greenery. It just helps with so many things. You stay on the land. You are breathing natural air, not the polluted air that we are used to here in the West because of all these industries, all these factories burning coal and different energy that we are breathing through the air. That's why people are ended up with cancer. We are ended up with many other health issues. We need industries in today's world, but if there is a way we can cut it down to a certain percentage, it's going to help out a lot of lives. But how many people are willing to do that, especially if they are already are hooked onto the money. They are looking at their financial gain over, the well-being of the people. Unfortunately, this is the world in which we have to live in. But I am inviting every single one of you, especially young Congolese in the diaspora. We all been there. We moved here when we were younger. We made dumb mistakes. We did things that we shouldn't have done, but the damage is done. That shouldn't really determine where we are going. It is time for us to literally start thinking big, to become more responsible in decisions that we are making. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you run around, you spend your money on buying pair of Jordans and Nikes and Adidas and all that other expensive outfit and sneakers and shoes. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have to look good. But at the same time, you also got to think of it this way. Okay, how old are you? In 10 years, how old will you be? What are you trying to do to secure your future financially? Because if you retire today, you do not have enough money into a bank account. Hey, you do not want to go back and get another job. That's one thing I've been fighting over the years. Like, I have a job, I have a career. I'm working at the same time. I'm not thinking about the Social Security paycheck. I'm not thinking about the pension yet because I haven't reached that age yet. I haven't put in that many years yet, right? But I'm looking at other possibilities. Therefore, I chose to go back home to the country to start my own farm, grow it as much as I possibly can grow it, to turn it into a much greater business and actually signing contract with local markets or other entrepreneurs out there to start something, have other streams of income coming in. Because at one point we all sing about how much we are willing to move back home to our homeland, right? Move back to our countries, but you're not going to move back to the country without having any plan. How are you going to be making money? And how are you going to afford living there every single day the way you are used to here in the West? So putting all of that together, you need to have a plan. And it's okay. Sometimes I wake up in the West and I wish I was in the Congo with what I have here, but it's only a matter of time before I become as comfortable, not that comfortable financially, but become as comfortable as I am now. If I could make the same situation back in the country, I wouldn't really see a point of staying here in the West all the time. For most of us that have lived here for quite some time, we know how stressful living in the West can be. Most of us do not even want to stay here, especially if you are in your late 30s and approaching 40s. Most people are starting to consider to move back to the country. But what are you going to move back to? You have to move back to the country with a plan. Either you start a business, either you have an activity, something that's bringing you money that's going to allow you to afford the lifestyle of living in the Congo, right? Because some of us, after living in the West, we see the condition in which we live here. You want to take that level of comfort back in the country, which is going to cost you money too. You will want to purchase a property in an area where the property may cost a little bit more, still affordable though, and build it, live within the place, and actually create an environment that's best suits you under the same condition you were staying here in the West. All of that only going to be possible if you put in work. That's why it is very important, especially if you are planning to move back, to already start something that you could be looking forward to going to the country more often for. If you don't have anything, you just sit around and you keep talking about it. I don't see how you're going to move back to the country if you don't really have anything going on over there. It's nice to go visit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go visit. You can go visit friends. You can go visit family. You can even go visit your parents. There is nothing wrong with that. We've all done it. My very first trip back to the country, even though it was more of like a family visit, but the second one wasn't so much about visiting anyone, because if it's only about visiting people, then we could video chat. I can call you through WhatsApp on a video call, or I can call people through other video calling apps out there, right? But I went over there with other mindset. I went over there to start something that's potentially is going to benefit me, it's going to benefit my family, and is also going to encourage other diasporans out there to do something similar, because that is my effort in starting this video. I have been putting this video out to help as many of us as possible, because my goal here, it is to make sure young Congolese become entrepreneurs, become more successful, and make more money to control the markets, not to leave it to all the expatriates that have invaded our country and they're building supermarkets, building all these extravagant lifestyles around them while we are still being left behind. I'm not going to have that. So I'm one of those Congolese young boys that's trying to change the narrative, who's trying to do something different, you know what I'm saying? And yes, and see how my ambitions grow from there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It really has been a pleasure chatting with you again one more time, because I always love when you and I get together and talk about this farming stuff, because I just get so excited talking about this stuff. All right. So it's almost time. I got to go pick up my son from the bus station. And I appreciate you tuning in. If you have not already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like the video. Share it with a friend. All right. If this is finding me for the first time, do not be a stranger. Hit that subscribe button so we can grow together. Until the next video, stay safe and healthy. Peace.